This book could not have come at a better time for me personally, and I hope a lot of men who have put off reading Freed to Lead, you will take the plunge and start reading it in hopes that this will be the perfect time for you to get into the founding and culture and leadership principles of F3 Nation. Now, I would say from my point of view, manipulated and tricked into attending my first F3 workout on Veterans Day weekend in 2017. But all it took was one workout and I was hooked. I love going by my F3 name, Rev Socks. I'm a pastor who's a fan of the New York Yankees. I love leading a workout. I love being the Q. I love being a site Q and overseeing an area where we have a workout weekly. Few things are more enjoyable than the stupidity of a good CSOP, something that's completely stupid and utterly pointless, or naming an FNG, a friendly new guy at his very first workout. One time when I was the Q of a CSOP, that is one of our races that's really stupid and totally pointless, where we had two FNG brothers who were at their first F3 activity and their last name was Heine. And then I had the opportunity of naming them Left Cheek and Right Cheek. That is one of the greatest joys in my life. I love F3 Nation. I especially love F3 New Orleans. But then I broke my ankle in October, and I've been on the IL ever since, and I just had news that I might be renamed Michael Thomas for being on the IL for this long. So now I'm chomping at the bit to get back. But I have two problems. First, side straddle pops are still somewhat of a problem on that healing ankle. And second, I have these stabbing phantom pains in my broken ankle whenever I think of attending a workout, because I don't want to break it again doing something dumb, and Rev Socks does some dumb things at F3 from time to time. But Freed to Lead, reading the second edition of this book after reading the first edition earlier, I am more than ever ready to take the plunge and go to a beatdown this week, even if I know I won't be able to do all of the exercises. And if you've made it into this review this far, and if 75% of what I've said doesn't make any sense to you, allow me a moment to explain. Welcome to Rev Reads, your home for book reviews from the perspective of a pastor. If you're new to the channel and want to discover more life-changing and instructive books, please subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with the most current reviews. And if you're a regular to Rev Reads, or you're a part of F3 Nation, like this video, share it with other people to help them learn about the leadership principles that can be gleaned from F3. Freed to Lead was written by David Redding and Tim Whitmire, better known by F3 members as Dread and OBT. And they tell in this book the story of the founding of F3 Nation. F3 is a worldwide men's exercise community, and the three F's stand for fitness, fellowship, and faith. Now, the workouts themselves can be almost anything, from military-style boot camp type workouts to running groups, biking, rucking, and so much more. What makes a workout an F3 workout is its adherence to the 5 core principles. First, F3 is free of charge. We are not going to pay other men to lead us to work out or to rent a space. Second, it's open to all men. Sorry, ladies, this is a men's club, but if you're a man, we will welcome you. Third, it's held outdoors. And for this, I praise the Lord. I live in New Orleans and not in New York, where I grew up. Then it is peer-led. The men who work out at F3 are expected to grasp the concepts of F3 relatively quickly and then be thrown into the deep end of leadership, which is both glorious while you're leading for the first time and also hilarious as you're watching other men lead for the first time. And the final core principle of F3 is that every workout ends with a COT, or a circle of trust. This is where we confess our birth names and ages, and also pray over one another. Now, Freed to Lead tells the story of F3's founding, and it also covers why F3 works and why it is spreading so quickly. F3 is moving across the nation like wildfire because it's solving a problem so many men experience: the sad clown syndrome. The sad clown is a man whose life is without purpose, but at the same time, that sad clown is overly burdened with tasks, but tasks that don't give him purpose in life. And F3 helps men to get back a life of purpose, energy, and joy by inspiring them through the leadership qualities developed in all of F3's various activities. Now, this was my second read through the book because I already read the first edition, and I liked it even more this time. One reason I liked it more is because I'm on the IL, and so it helped get my brain engaged back into an F3 mindset. So if you're an F3 and you're watching this while on the IL, or if you've drifted away from being at workouts, start reading this book. It might help you to get the jump start you need to get back into F3. I also loved this edition for the testimonies from men in F3 that are contained in it. Every man should want to read this book simply for those stories. They were great to read. At times they were humorous. Always they were inspiring. And what they help to illustrate is just how life-changing F3 can be. Now, the following paragraph that I'm going to read by Slow Pitch helps to show why F3 solves the problem of loneliness that so many men have. A life where men aged 30 to 60 are surrounded by people, but we're lacking any real friends. Slow Pitch wrote about what it was like attending his first F3 workout. It felt like arriving at a party full of strangers that's already underway. While I looked for my brother Bubbles and worried about where I should leave my car keys during the workout, I was greeted by two smiling guys, Waffle House and Wait Time. My head was spinning. Then I saw Bubbles, and then my other brother, Tater Tot. With huge grins, they came over and gave me a huge hug. Bubbles informed Tater Tot that he was claiming credit for the EH. That paragraph, which could sound kind of insane to anyone who is outside of F3, illustrates how once a man comes to a workout, they are plunged into this community of brotherly love, encouragement, accountability, and support. When you are given an F3 name, you are welcome into a new community of friendship that, from my perspective, seems almost impossible for men to find anywhere else. And the stories show how F3 brings that community, and how that community is what inspires men to be more than they ever thought capable. From starting new businesses to new nonprofits to simply being there for other men in a way they never thought possible before. So we draw men in with the fitness, the workouts, then we connect them, we glue them together with the fellowship, and then we send them out with the faith. And although the testimonies were fantastic throughout, they did bring about my one complaint in the book, and that is they're dominated by stories from F3 members from North Carolina and Charlotte. And I get that F3 started there, but it makes F3 seem a little smaller than it is when all of the stories in this book come out of North Carolina, as if there aren't awesome stories from guys all over the nation and now even all over the world. And so I think Dread and OBT could have been better served by selecting some stories from a broader geographical area. But that's a relatively minor complaint since the stories in the book were all very good. The insight that this book brings on principles for leadership is also priceless. As a pastor, I am thankful for what I have learned from F3 in my 2 readings of Freed to Lead. Pastors should read this book to learn how to invigorate men in their churches and communities. We need to help men find their dolphins and daffodils. And that means those parts of their lives, those works that they can do that bring them joy and fulfillment, those things they will want to do without being guilted into them by their pastors or their wives. And the final section in this book on the importance of the third 500 or the third quarter in life is just so crucial for men today. And as a man who just turned 40, I am entering that third 500 in life. And I want these years to count. I want these years to be the most impactful years in my entire life on this earth. I want to get more done between the ages of 40 and 60 than I accomplished in the first 40 years of my life. And I think F3 can help me get there. Now, the best way to know what this F3 craze is all about is to go to a workout. If you're a man in need of friends, just show up at an F3 beatdown. Look up f3nation.com, find the workout that's closest to you, or if you have other men who have been pestering you to come, we call it EHing, tell him you'll come if he'll drive you to the workout in the morning. He'll come to your house and pick you up. And I guarantee that if you ask someone to come and drive you to a workout, he'll do it. He'll drive to your house, he'll sit in your driveway so that you will be accountable to get out of bed in the morning. Now, the best way to dive into F3 after you've experienced the insanity of a workout, I think, is to read this book, Freed to Lead. Or also, if you're a wife of someone in F3, or you just talk to men who are in the group and you want to learn more about the language we speak, the terms of F3 are scattered throughout the book, also used in context in the writing of this book, so you can grasp some more of our weird language by reading Freed to Lead. But in conclusion, I highly recommend this book. I also highly recommend Q-Source for every man in F3, especially those who are in leadership positions in F3, and that should be everyone. And so I'm so glad to have read both of these, especially Freed to Lead twice. And now we'll see if YHC can overcome his fears and test out that injured ankle in the gloom of El Diablo at Pontiff Park later this week.